looks like there's a tag team championship match coming up.
Oh,
that's right. In fact, the tag team champions are in the house. They're here right now.
Really?
We got the tag team champions. The Hurt Syndicate are here at Radio Row right now. Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, and the business advisor, MVP. And you have all three of them here, the World Tag Team Champions of AEW, All Elite Wrestling. They are around the area here.
Now,
and they're defending the titles in Austin, Texas against the Guns, Austin and Colton Gunn. It'll be this Wednesday on Wednesday Night Dynamite worldwide and on Max and TBS.
And I want to talk to you more about Max in just a second. You're dressed very nice today, but is there any human being that dresses nicer than Bobby Lashley? Because holy moly, man, that dude is on point every time.
Well, wait till you see him today. Bobby Lashley is dressed to the nines today, just like every other day. What a classy man and what a great champion to have in AEW. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, the World Tag Team Champions. AEW's where the best wrestle, and that includes the Hurt Syndicate. And they're going to have a really tough competition because they're defending the championships against the former champions, Austin and Colton Gunn. Austin and Colton Gunn returning to AEW. They've been the World Tag Team Champions. They've been 2/3 of the World Trios Champions. They're two of the most decorated wrestlers in AEW. And they never got a rematch on television for the titles after they lost the World Tag Team Championship. So it's long overdue, and it's going to be a great match. And it's going to be great to follow the tag team trios, singles divisions, men's, women's, all the exciting things happening in All Elite Wrestling AEW, heading into AEW All In Texas. What a huge thing coming July 12th to Arlington, Texas. It's going to be awesome.
Now, and even before we get there, you mentioned Dynamite Wednesday in Cedar Park right outside of Austin.
Yep.
Then the Saturday after, you guys have the Australia show that will be broadcast after NBA All-Star Saturday night. Do I have the timing of all of that correct?
That's right. That's right. And we'll be filming Tuesday in Austin also, and the show's going to be Wednesday on TBS and on Max. It'll be 7 p.m. Central. And we're going to have a great, great show at Cedar Park. That's one of the best venues for AEW. And we're on the road to Revolution. And it's funny because 5 years ago, on the original Road to Revolution, we had these great shows in Atlanta, and now Cedar Park is another venue we're running.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a great original pay-per-view, the first Revolution, and really set the stage for Revolution, I think, to annually be one of AEW's very top, best events. And I thought last year, top to bottom, was also one of the best shows we've ever done, Revolution. So very excited about AEW and what we're doing right now. And I think it's going to be really, really great to come back to Cedar Park this week, a venue where we've had some of our best shows. And like you said, we're heading to Australia. We've got Grand Slam Australia next weekend. What a cool thing that's going to be able to go to Brisbane. I've never been to Australia, and I'm very excited about it. It's a great wrestling community, and I'm excited for us to make our debut there. It's going to be a great, great show. Grand Slam is always a great event, and we've only done Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York, which is the American home, and we've had some great shows there on Dynamite over the years, and this is going to be the biggest collision ever, Grand Slam collision coming to Australia. What a show, what a lineup. So many exciting things happening in AEW right now, and like you said, it was a great show last night.
I'm always fascinated with this. You were in a chair where you get to make a lot of decisions. Do you get caught up in the emotions of a heel every once in a while? You're like, I hate that guy. I mean, you got to like love all the people that are working, but you're like, he's really. I
bet
good
with
at
MJF a time or two.
Well, there has to be balance in wrestling, and I think wrestling needs the great villains. And whether it's MJF, Ricochet, the Glamour Mariah May, the CEO Mercedes Moné, there's some great villains in AEW right now, and they're in some great rivalries, and I think there has to be balance. So. For every Mariah May, the Glamour, there is a timeless Tony Storm. For every Ricochet, there's a Swerve Strickland. And for now, MJF, it's very interesting because MJF's going to have a huge match coming up on Wednesday Night Dynamite on TBS and streaming on Max this Wednesday, 7 p.m. MJF versus Austin's hometown son, Dustin Rhodes.
And we just had him on a couple months ago.
Yep.
Now, you were just mentioning Toni Storm and Mariah May and that rivalry. Now, I'm very familiar with the product, but for people who aren't, I know you've referenced in the past All About Eve, Sunset Boulevard. Like, how would you describe Toni Storm's character to somebody who's like, I have not seen your show before?
Well, Timeless Toni Storm is a timeless movie star from a past era that is today the greatest living actress in the world. Sometimes she appears in black and white.
Yes.
She's inspired by characters like Margot Channing and Norma Desmond. You talk about Sunset Boulevard and All About Eve. Timeless Toni Storm is in a class of her own. She's a fantastic actress, and she took in a protege by the name of the Glamour Mariah May. And the Glamour Mariah May is a top international wrestler who did great work in Stardom and went over to Japan. She's from London. She came to America, signed with AEW, and she basically pretended to be Toni Storm's biggest fan, to get in with Toni, take advantage of her, and then take everything from Toni. Take
that
her
turn was
championship.
heartbreaking.
And then Mariah, yes, the turn really was heartbreaking. Like you said, that's a great point. Mariah won the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Cup to get the shot at Wembley Stadium at the world title in London, in Mariah's hometown, and really then immediately when she got the opening, backstabbed and beat down the champion at the time, Timeless Toni Storm. And then Mariah took the championship in her home country, in her home city of London, in Wembley Stadium in front of this massive crowd at this really special event, AEW All In London. And that's the same show. We're bringing AEW All In to Arlington, Texas this year, July 12th, Globe Life Field. You don't want to miss this. And coming up in Australia, the biggest collision we've ever done, it's going to be Toni Storm's opportunity for revenge, the teacher getting some opportunity to get revenge on the student who betrayed her, and it's going to be Timeless Toni Storm in her home country, Australia, in Brisbane this Saturday, the biggest collision ever. Next Saturday, the biggest collision ever. And, before then, like I said, there'll be some great shows around Texas. We'll be around Houston on Saturday, and then we'll be filming Wednesday Night Dynamite on Tuesday in Austin with these big matches you talked about, the Hurt Syndicate versus the Guns for the World Tag Team Championship, Dustin Rhodes versus MJF. And around Houston, we're bringing a huge card Saturday. It'll be live 48 hours from now on TNT and streaming on Max with big matches like Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher. That's a rematch from the Continental Classic. And that was one of the best matches in the Blue League. Kyle Fletcher only took one loss in the entire Blue League, and it was from Mark Briscoe, who ended the tournament red hot and came out of it as one of the hottest wrestlers in AEW. And Mark Briscoe, the only person who was able to stop Kyle Fletcher in the Blue League. I can't wait for that match Saturday. And I think there's so much great wrestling on the show. And also, there's going to be Halftime Harley.
I saw it, yeah.
Harley
saw that.
Cameron's halftime show on Collision this week. I'm excited for that. She's a great singer, a great wrestler, and dare I say, a great puppeteer.
Now, you mentioned All In. It's going to be at Globe Life Field July 12th. Go to allelitewrestling.com. Can we take some credit for badgering you into bringing a pay-per-view here? Because y'all would do Winter's Coming at the Caldwell Center every year. We loved it, but every time you're like, hey, can we get a pay-per-view too? And you're like, man, you guys are a little greedy. Did we help beat you down into submission to give us this pay-per-view?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a team effort by you and all the great fans around Texas, because every time we come to Texas, and that's why I'm so excited about this next week, by the way, because I can't wait to come to Houston on Saturday. I can't wait to come to Austin on Tuesday for Wednesday Night Dynamite. And I can't wait for these shows, those areas, and Dallas, DFW, in particular, the legendary history around there, the Von Erich family, world class, all the great shows, and all the great history of DFW, of the Dallas Metroplex. Dallas Metroplex arguably is the single greatest wrestling market in the entire world. And like I said, we got big shows coming up around Texas, and I think people are going to come from all over Texas to come to the Dallas Metroplex, to be in Arlington at Globe Life Field July 12th. this is going to be AEW's biggest show ever in America. And everyone said, when are you going to bring a pay-per-view, including you?
Yes.
You said, when are you going to bring a pay-per-view to Texas, and specifically when are you going to bring a pay-per-view around Dallas?
Metroplex.
We've never done a Texas pay-per-view before, and it's coming to the Dallas Metroplex, coming to Arlington. I can't wait for July 12th. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be AEW's biggest show in America. It's already our biggest gate we've ever had in America.
In America? Wow.
And there's still tickets available. You can come July 12th. It's going to be a fantastic show. I can't wait for that. And I really appreciate you guys. Team effort, badgering me over the years, because I've always wanted to do a pay-per-view around Dallas. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I love working with Kevin Von Erich and Ross and Marshall.
Yeah, Ross and Marshall are the best.
In ROH and AEW, they're fantastic. I love those kids. I love the family, and I love the Dallas Metroplex, and that's why I'm so excited to be here with you and talking about AEW.
Now, since the peer pressure worked once before, I'm going to try a new tactic. You've talked about Max quite a bit. I just finished my 2019 Dynamite rewatch on Max because I know how to party.
Yep, that's good.
So then it wants me to jump to 2024, and I get that, but I need things to go in order. I have a very specific way it needs to play out. When do you think we might get more content on Max? There's a lot on there, but like when maybe?
It's a great question. There's going to be more rolled out. We're going to roll the whole library out. It's coming. And like you said, there's some great Dynamites, collisions, and we've got all these great pay-per-views and shows from all the years, and there's going to be more and more of that being uploaded, and that's one of the great things about this partnership. I think it was exciting because it was really the first time I've heard they keep these numbers at Max super close to the vest. It was exciting when we heard the report from Warner Brothers that we are one of the top sports streaming shows on Max. We're already a top show on TBS on Wednesdays, TNT on Saturdays, and now a top streaming show on Max. We have a great partnership and a great relationship there, and we're very blessed to be, like I said, Wednesdays on TBS, Saturdays on TNT, and streaming on Max with the whole library coming soon.
Okay.
So we're working on it.
Because I'm just going to keep going after you.
You're
for that.
very successful. When you tend to get after me on stuff, you tend to get what you want.
I know you got to go allelitewrestling.com. You can find all your info for All In, July 12th, Globe Life Field in Arlington. Tony, thank you very much for jumping on with us.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's always good to see you. Real pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Khan right here on
I'm excited to go to that. I'm into wrestling,
you better
especially
go.
live wrestling. It's going to be during, I believe, the All-Star break of Major League Baseball, so I'm going to try to take my nephews. They're in love with it, too, so I'm going to be there at the ballpark.
Thank you.